Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to this workshop, which is on school ambassadors and the learner pathways that support DYW and developing skills. My name is Rob Wallen. I'm the chair of the SCQF Partnership Board, and I'm the facilitator for this workshop today. We're going to have three presentations. The first one is by Caroline Philp from Newbattle High School. And then we have a presentation from Aileen McManus and Roseleen Kennedy from St Paul's High School. And then Peter Murray from Education Scotland, developing the young workforce. Our time is very limited. We need to be finished by 3 o'clock because there is another section that follows on from this. So I would ask the contributors to try to keep to their allotted time. Before we have the first presentation, I would like to ask Donnie Wood, who is a development officer in the SCQF partnership team, to give us some context for this workshop. Donnie.
Thanks, Rob. Just a couple of minutes really to set the scene from our perspective as well. Before we hand over to our fantastic ambassador schools and Peter from Education Scotland as well, so hopefully just bring everything together. So a bit of background about the School Ambassador Programme. It's been running for a number of years now, and it's continued to grow and develop. And it's moved from a nice to be involved programme to a need to be involved programme for schools. And it's becoming more essential and being put at the heart of a lot of school curriculums and improvement plans. Initially, the programme was launched to raise awareness about the SCQF with pupils and parents. And to support that, we set about developing resources and implementing training for schools. And we could see that the benefits were clear. By using the SCQF, young people could develop these flexible learner pathways, but also schools and departments can develop pathways and progressions for young people to progress through SCQF levels. And importantly as well, parents and pupils can have a better understanding of the framework. And really importantly for me is that parity, the steam between national qualifications and the wide range of other programmes in the SCQF. So over the last 2 years, we've been working with over 50 schools, offering virtual training and support sessions with a focus on broadening that range of pathways that schools can offer young people. And schools have shown huge commitment in engaging with the programme despite the obvious challenges you'll know of. And you'll hear in much more detail when Newbattle and St Paul's give you a bit of background to their story about what they've achieved over the last few years. But as it stands, we've 157 schools across the country involved, and we're trying to encourage more schools to join our network. And one of the key benefits, I think, for me, is that platform that we can offer to share ideas, resources, and stories with all the other schools in the network. And suppose this is where this workshop fits in really well. It's just about learning from others and finding out what's happening in other schools. So thanks, and back to you, Rob.
Thank you very much, Donnie. That's a very helpful introduction. I would now like to introduce our first presenter, Caroline Philp from Newbattle Community High School. Caroline.
Hi, thanks for that. I'll just get this set up. Is that okay, Rob? Can you see the screen?
I can see it, thank you. Yep.
Perfect, thank you. So yeah, my name's Caroline Philp. I am a deputy at Newbattle High School, and I oversee the curriculum and timetabling and SQA at Newbattle. Before I start, what I will say is this is by no means a completed journey for our school. It's very much a ongoing journey, and we have been involved in looking at our curriculum pathways and developing different courses, different pathways, links with DYW over the last few years, but we are still very much in the progress of improving this and working towards what other offerings we can provide. COVID has caused us some complications on the way, and we felt that we were on a very good pathway progressing through this sort of journey until COVID hit, like everybody else. But we're very much in a position now to start getting the ball rolling again and look at what we can do. So for those of you that don't know much about Newbattle High School, we are one of 6 high schools based in Midlothian. Our vision is there. It's for us very much about caring, nurturing approach with our students, encouraging them to stay on until the end of S6. We've seen that the students that have stayed on until the end of S6, it's very much that's when they're getting their full set of qualifications. For some students, they need that longer exposure at school. For some, leaving school earlier is the right choice for them, and again, we fully support that. But regardless of when they leave or what they leave to do, we want to ensure that students are ready for their career, whether if it's employment they're going into. And if they are going into employment, ensuring that they are going into a pathway that offers progression within that employment, college or university as well. We are a digital centre of excellence, so there's been quite a focus on the digital learning and digital skills and upskilling students, regardless of what pathway they follow, so they have the skills that they need on their future journey. A little bit of the school context. Over 3/4 of our young people are from the lower Scottish Index of Multiple Deprivation. We have over 1/3 of our learners with additional support needs, and our free school meal entitlement is above national average. So in terms of Newbattle High School, in June 2018, we moved into our lovely new building. We're very, very lucky with a new build, and we moved in a few years ago in the June, and we really used that move as an opportunity. We restructured a lot in our pupil support team, but we also restructured our curriculum. We launched a new curriculum after a lot of consultation, and we changed the structure of our school day, and changes that we made to our curriculum map at that time was in the broad general education. We offered an afternoon for electives. That was for S2s and S3s to actually come together and be timetabled together in classes. I'll give you some examples of those electives in a second, but that was really an opportunity for young people to work on different employability pathways, really start looking at that DYW aspect, looking at what skills they would need, and it was really about an employability elective. Something else that we included in our school day was our digital literacy, and all students in S1, 2 and 3 now get a period of digital literacy. Digital literacy programme is there to ensure that students are getting those digital skills that are needed further up the school and after school. In the senior phase, this is where the most changes were made. We removed columns. We had quite a traditional course choice offering up until we launched our new curriculum. It was, I would say, more focused on sort of academic courses. Subjects were offered in columns, students chose from those columns, but now we have a very, very wide range of offerings to meet the needs of all our learners, various different levels, different types of awards and qualifications, which I'll give some examples of in a wee minute, and it's free choice. So the students pick their subjects and we timetable those choices for them. The first year into our new curriculum, we actually contacted Donnie to get some support, because we're quite interested in the School Ambassador Programme, and Donnie and his team have been a huge help and support for Newbattle. We have gained our bronze accreditation and we're working towards silver, which we hope to get at the end of the session. And that programme has been really, really useful, because I think from a senior leader in school, I understood the sort of pathway and the journey that we wanted to go on as a school, but maybe not all staff were aware of that or understood what was out there and what could be offered. So we spoke to a lot of schools who were doing different things to share ideas and hear what they were doing. But Donnie also provided some virtual training that we, instead of just having a small group of staff going through, we put all our staff through that training on an in-service day. From there, we set up a working group with one member of staff from each faculty, who were our staff ambassadors. We've got student ambassadors as well that link with that working group. And that's where we started to develop the pathways for every faculty in the school, look at the different courses that are offered, and help to support parents and young people with that through our student ambassadors. that's an ever-growing, I think, pathway for us. Every year when we do course choice, there's different courses, different offerings, progression pathways getting developed. So that's something that's been really interesting, particularly over the last couple of years. But the Ambassador Programme has really helped support that. We have introduced wider achievement awards. So one column of our senior coursing is wider achievement awards, where we want to ensure that all of our seniors leave school with a leadership qualification, mental health, well-being, and a digital qualification. So that's been a big focus. Again, students are getting their subjects that they need to get into that employment, to get their college place, university place, but we feel that to enhance their skills and to support them with their journey after school, these skills that they're learning in these awards are really quite important. In terms of partnership work within our curriculum, we link very closely with Edinburgh College for school-college partnership work. That starts from the BGE right the way through to their senior offering. We have foundation apprenticeships also running through Edinburgh College, but Midlothian Council also offer their own foundation apprenticeships, where we work closely with the 5 other high schools, and they are delivered as we might host one for all the schools, or other schools could become hosts. So that's very much a collegiate working approach across the authority. We have also offered some qualifications through employers. So we have our pre-employment award that we offer. Again, that's with students going out and working with employers. They are based maybe 2 afternoons, an afternoon, a day. It really depends on what the employer can support with, but looking at getting students out. And pre-COVID, that was very successful, to the point where we had several students out working for maybe a day a week who left school and went into an apprenticeship with these employers. So that was a very, very good success story for a lot of our students. We work in close partnership with our sport and leisure team through Midlothian Council to get every student leaving school with a first aid award, and also with Open University for YAS courses. In school, we've also got a really, really good SDS worker who knows our students inside out and helps support with these pathways and looking at what opportunities we can put in place, as well as working with DYW coordinators. So in terms of some courses that we've developed over the last couple of years, these are all different courses that have been introduced to our curriculum, that are running or have been running or are about to be offered. And yeah, I've really offered our students a much greater choice, but also I would say it's meeting their needs in terms of the levels that they can progress on to. We were finding that students following that more traditional pathway of doing their National 5, then going on to their higher, etc. Some couldn't cope with that jump from National 5 to higher, but they maybe could progress onto a level 6 MPA. Or likewise, that jump between National 4 and National 5, particularly in the sciences. If a student has got their National 4 biology, but we're struggling with National 5, we've seen a really successful move to the level 5 health sector course. All of these courses also are offering progression further up the school. So it's really about looking at where they progress to, whether that's a course that we offer or a course at college, or elsewhere could offer as well. So they're just some of the courses that have been developed by staff in our school and are getting delivered. I've put some examples of pathways up there just to put this into context a little bit for everybody. So again, if we think about our engineering pathway in school, on a Wednesday afternoon, our S2s and S3s can select the engineering elective, and they work very closely with the staff in our science department in school, but also with our staff at Edinburgh College. Staff come out from the college to work in school with the students, but have also managed to get the students out down there for some lessons as well. So that's really starting to give them an introduction on what the different types of engineering involves and what it can lead to, what qualifications they can do, what careers it can also lead to as well. From there, if students are still interested in that pathway, we've got subjects that are delivered in school, but also school-college partnership courses. And that can then progress on into foundation apprenticeships. And then you've got your options after school as well. Another example that I have is just a digital learner pathway. So we've got several electives in our BG. We've got a digital design and app development elective. We've got a coding, a robotics and drone elective. But we also have our digital literacy programme that all S1s, 2s and 3s will follow. From there, we've developed a lot of courses in the senior phase in this area. We've always offered computing science, but in the last sort of year, we have introduced more courses there: data science, games design and cybersecurity. And again, there's progression pathways into foundation apprenticeships and options after leaving school as well. What we have found with introducing a lot of these courses is that obviously the uptake, it can be quite tricky to get started with. I don't know about other schools, but a lot of students at Newbattle, if something's new and they don't know about it, they're very, very reluctant to sort of give it a go. But by starting it off in the BGE, and even this year we're offering games design as an S3 course to sort of support with that journey and let students see what it's like in the broad general education. That then helps with the course and into the senior phase. And again, with us being quite lucky that we work closely with our other high schools in the authority, it does mean that it can open up opportunities for other schools as well, or we can be a host, or other schools can be a host to open up that very choice for students. In terms of the impact that this has had, what we have seen over the last few years is that we have got an increase in positive trend in our attainment data. It isn't where we want it to be yet, and that's why this still is an onward journey, but it is increasing, it's moving in the right direction. In particular, our Wider Achievement Awards has had a really positive impact on our attainment, and we're above our virtual comparator for our S6s at level 5 and level 6, and that's why we feel as a school we really need to encourage our students to stay on until the end of S6, because for them that's when they're managing to reach their potential. Some of them in particular might need just a little bit longer to get there with a bit more support. We have got far more students staying on at school, and I do think that's because we have the partnerships in place. We're meeting their needs more. There's courses that they're interested in and they want to do. So there's something for everybody. And it has also had an impact on our exclusions being reduced and our attendance being increased. So all really positive as a result of the sort of curriculum side, but obviously it has an impact across the whole school. So I know I've kind of gone through that very, very quickly. I'm not sure if anybody has any questions, or if anybody wants to get back in touch at any point, feel free to get my details and get in touch. It's not a problem at all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carolyn. That was very interesting. I see that no one has put any questions into the chat. We do have a couple of minutes that we could use for a question, but obviously you've offered for people to contact you directly if they've got anything they want to follow up on. Donnie, were there any questions you wanted to flag up?
Yeah, it was something that we picked on the first session, Caroline, and I thought it'd be helpful for the other schools to know as well, just how you've created these links from all these brilliant courses you've introduced, how you've managed to link that to the BGE, so they're being introduced to all these things before.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that the electives really were a good opportunity to do that, and it's only in the last year that we've really looked at our BG offering and started to offer a little bit more. But I think now that staff have a bit more of an understanding about the courses that are available through the SCQF framework and having a look at what they can do, then they're seeing how that ties in with their sort of BGE and what they're wanting to offer. And it has taken, I know somebody's just sort of put there saying about getting parental care or buy-in. I think that really has come from sort of, we've put a lot on our website. We used to have a great, face-to-face careers event, and staff were all in, and we had people from different employers, colleges, universities, which unfortunately we haven't managed to do over the last couple of years, but certainly we've got a lot of information on our website. But we have got a great sort of pupil support team who will link with parents and support with course choice. And if students are you know, looking at different pathways, I think it's just showing the value in the courses. And I know that support from sort of universities and colleges and saying that they will accept certain qualifications now, that's been a good support as well. But it does take time. But yeah, we're definitely seeing a positive result there.
Okay, thanks very much for that. I mean, I think the question that has been asked in the chat there about parents perhaps having very traditional views is an issue that takes a lot of work. But I guess from what you're saying, it's the information you put out to them, showing the value of the pathways, that wins the parents over.
Yeah, that, and I think once, I know sometimes getting it started is quite difficult, but once we've got our students who have been there and done that, they're a really good voice as well, and that's where the student ambassadors come in and really play their parts. I think sometimes when parents and carers are hearing from other students, or students are hearing from students, and they're not just listening to me banging on about the same thing every year, they really listen and they take that on board. So that's been a really good part of the programme too, hearing it from the students.
Thank you very much. And I think that answers the other question that came in the chat, was about how do you encourage the children, the young people, to think in a different way about the qualifications? And it is a combination of what you do, but also the young people themselves, the school ambassadors who are talking to other people within the school and selling them. Yeah. Yeah,
definitely. And I do think that we made it kind of compulsory that when we set the staff working group up, that there was a representative from each faculty in our school on that working group. So it was very much a whole school initiative, and every faculty had their pathways. Yes, some were a bit more ahead with others, but that was very much a whole school approach. So everybody was doing it together. So it was the same message going out.
That's excellent. Well, thank you so much, Caroline. That's been really very informative and very helpful. And I know you've offered to let people contact you directly if there's specific things they want to follow up on. So thank you very much. We will now move on to our second presentation, and our second presentation is from St Paul's High School, and in particular, it's Aileen McManus and Roseleen Kennedy. Aileen and Roseleen, are you there?
Yeah, we're here, and we'll just wait for the PowerPoint to come up.
Okay.
Thank you. So I think if we just move on to move on just now, the next slide, and the slide after that. Basically, we had a lot going on in our school for a number of years. However, it started to kind of fade away a bit, in that it was only certain subjects that were continually providing the offer across the whole of the SCQF. And so we decided to have a renewed focus on this in around about August 2019. We made sure that it was prominent in the school improvement plan, departmental improvement plans, and we dedicated a lot of time to it. We dedicated staff meeting time and service days and departmental meetings to all departments creating their new learner subject pathways to involve all of the SCQF up to level 7. We had a DYW committee, and in order to give a higher prominence to that as well, we then gave each person in the DYW/SCQF committee 1 period a week to concentrate on development the learner journeys for their subjects. And that's resulted in, if we can have the next slide, that's resulted in developing a St Paul's Careers Pathway booklet, which is interactive and linked to the web. It has a revised option process, learner pathways lessons, and probably something we're particularly proud of is our No Wrong Path video, which has been made by our SCQF ambassadors, highlighting all of the different courses that you can undertake in St Paul's High School. And in doing this, we've increased greatly our range of partners. And I'm just going to hand over to Aileen, who will take you through what has happened.
Thanks very much, Roseleen. So how do we go about engaging the pupils and the parents in conversations around the SCQF? Well, first of all, our SCQF ambassadors have been key in that process. They've come from the Caritas class, So they're using this leadership role to reflect on things to achieve their Caritas Award. And during that time that they've made the video that Roseleen's mentioned, and also a notice board about the SCQF, which is prominent within the school. We've also been running planned youth pathway events for S2, S3, S4 and S5, just to start at the start of their options process, and they have seen during those events the video that our ambassadors have made. They've been introduced and made aware of the SCQ framework and what it's all about. They've also been introduced to our Careers Pathways booklet that's been made by the whole staff that Roseleen's mentioned, and they've also had an opportunity to learn a wee bit more about the new subjects that are on offer to them the next session through information stalls. And these have been manned by the staff that are delivering the courses, and also by young people who have already been taking them this current session. We really did feel that the young people needed some dedicated time to plan their pathway and look at and take time, look at the Careers Pathways booklet that has been developed by the staff. So we've actually had some lessons in health and wellbeing for them to be able to do that, and that's supporting their career options. So what about parents? Well, the parents' information evenings, they've been done on Teams due to the pandemic, and we've had them the last couple of months for S2, S3 and S4 and S5, and so basically they've been given the same information as the pupils have at the Plan Your Pathways event. So they've seen the video, they've been introduced to the framework and our Careers Interactive Pathways booklet, and all that information they can view on our school website and our school Piota app. And there's also inserts every sort of school newsletter at the end of each session. So if you can move on to the next slide, please. So this one is, next few slides is actually about our Careers Pathways booklet. So if you can just flick through it, the next few slides, there's a contents page. In the next slide, you'll see what our pathway looks like. And we've got the SCQF bar at the top. We've got careers linked to that pathway down the right hand side, and these are all interactive. So when you click on a subject, it takes you to the SQA website. If you can put it to the next slide, please, and click again. And the the college websites are there as well that you can interact with. You can see we've linked the Glasgow College because that's the one that most of our young people go to. And the next slide, please. And the next slide, please. The career job profiles are all linked with My World of Work. So that's what we've been tasking our young people to do in health and wellbeing, so that they can plan their pathway for the future. So skills-based qualifications and programmes in the school. There's a whole wide range of qualifications that we're delivering, and these are all delivered by school staff. Some have been delivered for a while, such as the Skills for Work ones. We've got a lot of new NPAs, such as the criminology one's going to be new for next year, which we're delighted about. You can also see there's a wide range of wider achievement qualifications, which is fantastic for the young people to really develop their skills, take on some leadership roles, and they can use that in order to help them write their applications and UCAS and personal statements and talk about in interviews. Another new one I think to mention as well is the barista skills. It's getting delivered by the Health and Food Technology department, and they're working in partnership with Hub International, who's supporting them in delivering the lessons. And you can see one of our young people down there with his barista making these lattes. So next slide, please. Okay, so what about our engagement with partners, supporting the overall DYW strategy? We've worked with a variety of partners for a long time at St Paul's, and in partnership with Glasgow City Council, they work with our 3 colleges, Glasgow Clyde, Kelvin and City of Glasgow. And there's a huge offer, a range of wide courses that young people from St Paul's go and study as part of their school timetable, and that includes the foundation apprenticeships as well. These are really great opportunities to learn in college, and we find that a lot of young people, once they've had that wee taste of college, some of them actually decide that that's what they would like to do, and they move on into positive destinations from there. We also have our 6 years who work with the Glasgow Caledonian University to do a range of advanced hires. And that experience of actually learning in a university environment is really supporting them make that transition for when they leave school. We've got a great partnership with the Rangers Charity Foundation, and there's a group of about 12 S4 pupils every year who do the wider achievement. They get the Level 4 Steps to Work Award, and they're supported by our employability officer Greg, who takes them to Rangers on a Tuesday afternoon and all day on a Thursday. As well as Steps to Work Award, they are also achieving their first aid and mental health first aid as well. New for this session, we're working with First Steps, which is another training provider in Glasgow, and they work towards getting young people into the construction industry. And we recognise that a lot of our young people would like to have modern apprenticeships or work in trades, and the key to that is having their CSCS card. So First Steps have been working with 10 of our 5th and 6th years, and Greg works with them. He takes them in the minibus all day on a Tuesday, and not only do they achieve their CSCS card, but they're also getting tasters. They've got fantastic facilities there. They're learning plastering, brickwork, scaffolding, and all sorts of things that we wouldn't be able to give them a taste of at school. And I'm just delighted that many of these young people have now passed the CSCS card. Through First Steps, they're now accessing work placements with employers, and hopefully they'll be successful in that and be able to access some modern apprenticeships. Another partnership we have the last few years is with Harper Salon in Barrhead. As the salon is closed on a Monday, Greg takes this group on a Monday to do their Skills for Work hairdressing, and they love that opportunity of learning in a live salon. The other periods that they come to school, they're doing the Enterprise Employability NPA, so they're getting a package of qualifications for that option. A new partnership this year for us is with Tigers, who's another training provider in Glasgow. They're coming into school and they are delivering the early education and childcare Skills for Work course for us. The young people are really enjoying that course, and they really enjoy working with the trainer. They've had an experience at one of the nurseries, and we find that this is a great stepping stone because so many of our young people are moving on to do childcare either at college or in a modern apprenticeship when they leave. The last partnership I want to talk about is Young Enterprise Scotland. We're very lucky that their premises is in the south side of Glasgow, close to our school, and Greg again is our employability officer, works with a group of targeted young people who are winter leavers. These young people have got barriers to come into school. They might not have attended for whatever reason because they're winter leavers. They're not going to be able to leave at the end of 4th year. So 3 days a week, Greg takes them up to the Young Enterprise Scotland offices. They are working towards doing enterprise projects. They're getting tasters in horticulture, construction, sport. They also organise tasters within the college at Cardonald and Langside campus, the Glasgow Clyde College, and they get employability through working with the Skills Development Scotland work coaches and the staff at Young Enterprise Scotland, who all support them to apply for the January start courses. And it's really been a great turnaround to see the attendance and the engagement of these young people, and they all always get a positive destination in January. So we're delighted with that. The next slide, please. Oh, that's brilliant, thanks. So what impact is this having on the pathways and the pupils? Well, there's no wrong path. That's the strap line of our young ambassadors, and we do encourage all our young people to research what it is that they need, the entry requirements for colleges, jobs, apprenticeships, through using the resources that we've made at school and My World of Work. And we also encourage our young people to look at alternative pathways as well. Maybe they have aspirations to go to university. They might not manage to get there straight from school, so particularly looking at the articulation courses that colleges offers with university. In terms of pupils, our pupils, I must say, they are engaging with the curriculum. There's such a wide range of choices for them to have at St Paul's, so there's always something that interests them, and they are getting something, I think, out of the options that we offer. A lot of the young people are developing really positive relationships with the partners who we're working with and delivering programmes, and that in turn is really improving their attendance, especially for those who otherwise wouldn't attend our normal mainstream classes. All over together, this is really continuing to improve our destination statistics, and we're all delighted that this year in 2021 we had 98.64% destinations. So that's our journey so far. We've still got lots to do and lots of plans for the future, but thank you very much for listening to us, and if you have any questions or would like to contact us directly, we'd be more than willing to chat to you. Thanks.
Thanks.
That's great. Thank you both very much, Roseleen and Aileen. Really interesting presentation, lots of detail in there. We do have a few minutes for questions. I noticed there's a sort of question actually appeared in the chat, which is about Greg, because you mentioned him quite a lot of times.
I think,
is that a new post that was created?
It's a post. It's a post that we've created in the school. It's an enterprise and employability officer, and is actually part of our FTE. He's one FTE, and because we recognised, I think when we had the revision in 2019, we realised that we're also in an area of multiple deprivation in Pollock in the south side of Glasgow, and having that person who's not a teacher and able to take them and talk to them and kind of really counsel them for one, that we thought it was so worthwhile that it's one FTE on our staffing.
Right, oh, that's very interesting.
He's been really crucial in being able to manage the programmes, especially the ones that are delivered out with school, and also supporting our destinations, because he's able to build really positive relationships with young people and the partners, because a lot of the time, you know, if young people go to college, you don't get to really speak with the person who's delivering the courses with the young people, but Greg's that in-between person, and he also deals a lot with the parents and the carers as well, so it really meshes it all together to make it work.
Right, very interesting.
Yeah, so it means obviously it's been worthwhile for us to create the one FTE position.
So yes, he has kept busy.
Every day.
I see that. Any other questions? I can't see any coming up there. Donnie, were there any things you wanted to ask about?
Yeah, there was one question. I wondered, are you both seeing young people progressing up to maybe level 5, level 6 through qualifications, through these new qualifications, whereas if they'd only had the option of national qualifications, would they be stuck maybe in between a level? Are you finding that they're being able to progress?
Yeah, definitely, for sure, and we're still, you know, on this journey, and even just being here today and listening to what, you know, everybody else has got to say, we can see where we want to build in more level 6 qualifications, and this is a journey, you know, that we're still on.
I think it's a confidence booster as well. When you come back in 5th year, we maybe have some people are doing lab skills, might be doing health sector, they might be doing one of the travelling tourism, and it's a real confidence builder. So they might, on top of that, they might be doing their English Nat 5. So we find they've got more time and do better in that qualification because they're experiencing the success of the alternative qualifications, the alternative, the SCQF. Yeah. That's what we found in gaining. And Caroline was talking about it takes a while to embed it. We find that the first year we run a course, we get not a great uptake, but see the second year, by the time the word of mouth has gone round, then the numbers really multiply. And that's kind of, it's been growing year on year.
That's brilliant.
Well, thank you very much, both of you, for your contribution to this. It's been very interesting. And I know that you've said people can contact you directly if there are things you want to follow up on.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thank you for having us.
Okay, thank you. We'll now move on to our third presenter for the afternoon. And in this case, it's Peter Murray from Education Scotland, who is going to talk about the role of DYW. Peter.
Hi Donnie, can you share my slides? It's not working in this Mac, unfortunately. So hi everyone, before as Donnie tries to get my slides up there, my name is Peter Murray for Education Scotland. I'm part of the DYW team. There's two of us at Education Scotland, myself and Klaus. You heard from Klaus earlier on. I'm just going to talk a bit briefly about the idea of skills and where that sits in comparison to DYW. I'm really confident that the SCQF is making a massive difference in schools. Just schools talking about SCQF level 4, level 5 and level 6 makes a massive difference, because it means that we're away from that idea of having to think about what is a level 4 again? Is that a national 4? Where does that sit? So that's great. We believe that DYW is at the heart of the curriculum, and we believe that the Curriculum for Excellence and the refresh has helped it to bring it back into the attention of schools and teachers. Now, very difficult because of COVID, but it brought back into the idea that it's about gaining knowledge skills in the 21st century. Can you move one on, Donnie? I love this. This is like being and another one again. It's like being the Prime Minister, just asking people to put the slides on. Yeah, again, and again, and again, and again. That's perfect. So when you look at the idea of CFE, go back to 2008, and I always say this, going way back to 2008, there is entitlements for all learners, and 2 of them are key. So entitlement 4, opportunities for developing skills for learning, skills for life and skills for work, which is what I was in school. I was PT of skills for that big long title. And it's key that we look at the building of skills and building in the SCQF and bringing qualifications along with skills makes it even easier for us as teachers then to show the progression. And number 6, most importantly, the opportunity to move into positive and sustained destinations beyond school. It's a key. And if we look at skills in terms of where we are, a young person may have 5 hires, they may have 5 national 5s, they may leave school with MPAs, but the idea will be they'll leave school with skills. And these skills are key if we want young people to come into positive and sustained destinations beyond school. So I think that's really one of the key things. Moving on, Donnie. This is one of the things that we're now looking at, the idea of DYW in the curriculum, and the idea that skills, and I would add in knowledge, so skills and knowledge are part of why DYW in the curriculum should be together. We as teachers, especially secondary school teachers, so we're in the class and we're delivering, so in my case, computing and business studies. So that's my subject areas. I'm delivering higher computing, I'm delivering Nat 5 computing, I'm delivering business, but what I'm delivering is a set of skills. I am helping kids have the knowledge of my subject area, but also the skills that they're going to need for the computing courses, but also the skills they're going to need for the next part of their journey for life. And I think that's where the key is. And these skills do not have to be separate. We can develop these skills at the same time, which I think is very much a key. And you can look at the 4 contexts and the 4 capacities, and it may be that you've not looked at them for a while, and maybe that your school's looking back into them again. But if you look at them, they are actually quite an interesting bunch. We all would like learners to be successful, the learners to be confident, they would be responsible citizens, and they would be all want them to be able to contribute. And one of the key things is that giving them the confidence to say what they're good at. And I think Glaswegians and Scots people in general sometimes are not so happy at saying, I'm good at this. And that's one of the things that the SCQF will help in, because they can see this journey. When I first went to Hillhead, I could not get the parents to buy into the idea of a national certificate being a good starting point for some learners until we showed them the route. And this route is key, and the SCQF's helped this route. So you can go level 4, and then you can go in and do an NC, and then you can take that NC to a HNC. And if your journey is to get to university, you can do a HNC, and then you could go to university, or you can do a HND and go to university. Or you can stop at the end of your journey and look at what the qualification you've got can take you. But it's key that we look at the idea of skills and knowledge as being part of what we are looking to promote within every classroom in Scotland. One more, Donnie. So why is the idea of career education and skills development so important? So it's better preparing the learners for the world of work. And this is something that's really important. As teachers, we have the privileged position of standing in front of kids every day and giving them this a massive range of information. But we've also got the opportunity to prepare them for the world of work. And sometimes we need help in that. So sometimes we are not the experts in this field. So by bringing in experts from the outside world, the partners, the employers, that gives them the opportunity to see what's happening in that your sector in real time. I was a computing teacher, but I hadn't been in the world of computing for a long time, so I needed somebody to come in and help. Reducing youth unemployment is obviously, it was the whole part of the DYW programme. Sustainability and making that will become a global challenge, and that's one of the things that is more important. If we can create sustainable, positive destinations, then that's a great thing. Increasing demands for a higher skilled workforce. So the employers out there are looking for a skilled workforce, and we have this opportunity to develop this skilled workforce. And what we want to do is we want to look at the idea of making sure that every learner in Scotland leaves school with a set of skills. I'm not going to call it a toolkit, but a set of skills that they know is going to prepare them for that big bad world. One more, Donny. The Career Education Standard was one of the 3 documents that came along with DYW. I've not put the other ones up, but I see these 3 documents as inherently one single document, and I know that's controversial, but I see this, and I'm going to finish with this slide. I see it that the Career Education Standard has said that there's entitlements for young people, and what it means is they're entitled to a career education from 3 to 18, and that's where we're so different in Scotland. This idea of a 3 to 18 journey doesn't just start in the senior phase, it starts way back in early years, and we've saw early years already developing skills. But the Career Education Standard is that first entitlement, and if we want to create an environment where every school in Scotland, every learner in Scotland gets this idea of career education, then we need to provide other things. So the Work Placement Standard is a document that's very, very often missed, but the Work Placement Standard talks about work inspiration. It talks about work-related learning. Now, if we want to prepare young people for the world of work, we need to provide work inspiration for them. We need to show them what's out there, and we need to provide them with work-related learning. Positive examples of the world of work. Now, to me, that's a perfect place to be. But if we're trying to do this ourselves as just teachers, then we are going to make it difficult because, again, as I said earlier on, we don't know all the things that are happening in our sector. So the 3rd document everyone talks about, the school employer partnership, that's key. We need the employers in, we need the partners in, we need the 3rd sector in to provide our classes with a positive entitlement. And I think that is absolute key. If we get that right, we then have these 3 documents sitting together. So the entitlements and expectations, one more, Donny. And this is my last slide, I'm going to finish here. So this is an excerpt from the Career Education Standard. And as you can see, it talks about entitlement for all learners in the centre. And then it talks about 4 things around that will help us provide this. So if we look at the employers, if employers are bringing this in, bringing this world of work in, and they understand the SCQF, sorry. Sorry guys, that's the benefit of working from home. That was the postman delivering my stuff. But what they do in my house is I've got a double porch. They open the front door and I've got 3 dogs, and the dogs try and run out and get them. So I had to go and save the postman from being eaten alive by a spaniel and 2 collies. Sorry. So my trainer thought employers bring that rich experience. SDS provide all that information through My World of Work. Parents are absolutely key, because parents can provide their own idea of skills, and of course the teachers. You can't do without the teachers. It's a positive experience for us all. And I'll finish with this, because my dogs will probably go again. If we can provide every learner in Scotland with an idea of what it's like to work, what it's like to be in the real world, what the possibilities they are for jobs, and we can then provide them with the experience to show them that this is what it's like. There is so many learners out there who think they want to be, I'll say, in my school, lots of wanted to be hairdressers. So you put them out to hairdressing and they have all the skills that they need, but they didn't think it was that. And they come back and they say, oh, I didn't think it was like that. If we provide this experience for every learner in Scotland, we'll have far less young people dropping out of their first positive destination because they're not sure of what it was going to be. And I think that working with the SCQF and all of the partners gives schools the opportunity to bring that to life. Thanks, Donnie, that's me. And you can thank my dogs for having a barking session during it.
Peter, before you go, Peter?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right. There was a question that's been posted here in the chat, which is, for schools that maybe struggle with creating partnerships with employers, can you suggest how they would best go about it?
Yes, I can. So when I first started doing this a long time ago, 10 years ago, we had to go out and get the partnerships themselves. Now, every school in Scotland has a regional group, a DYW regional group, who will provide that middle point of between the school and the partner. So if a school's looking, so for instance, if you're a secondary school and you want to have a partner for every single faculty or department, you can approach your regional group. So if you're in Glasgow, it's DYW Glasgow. If you're in Lanarkshire, it's DYW Lanarkshire, Eastern Bartonshire. They will provide you with the opportunity to partners. And it's a great thing, because in a secondary school, a lot of secondary schools have a single partner, but what's a good partner for a computing department doesn't mean it's going to be a good partner for maybe creative industries. So the DYW regional groups allow you to have multiple partners in your school with just either one little email or a meeting with your regional group, or talk to your DYW coordinator, because every school in Scotland has a DYW coordinator in secondary school.
Okay, thank you very much. That's very helpful. Are there any other questions for Peter before he goes? No. Okay, well then I would say thank you very much to Peter, and thank you very much to Roseleen and Aileen, and thank you very much to Carolyn. All of you have given us very, very interesting perspectives on this developing situation, and it's amazing to see how much work is actually going on and how much things have changed over the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Donnie, are there any final comments you'd like to make?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Yeah, just to reinforce that if your school's not involved already with the Ambassador Programme, then just get in touch. I'll put my details into the chat, and we're always looking to expand our School Ambassador network and replicate some of the great work that's happening in Newbattle and St Paul's. And thanks to everyone, just to echo your thoughts as well, thanks to everyone who's contributed this afternoon, so it's been great.
And thank you for those people who've attended the workshop this afternoon. Thank you very much. Hope you found it useful. Goodbye now.